Hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. And in today's video, I'd like to talk to you about people pleasing and why it doesn't work. So here's the thing, you guys. I'd like to talk to you about people pleasing because it seems to be a really important and prevalent topic still. A lot of people still do a lot of people pleasing in their daily lives, even though it doesn't seem to be bringing any positive results whatsoever, kind of regardless of your goal. So why do we keep people pleasing if the people are not even pleased? People pleasing has really horrible ROI. So I'd like to talk to you about why are we doing this and why no one seems to be happy about this. But also, most importantly, what do we do instead? How do we get out of this? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, guys, so here's the thing. I like to start with talking about how we ended up here to begin with. Why do we people please? And I have identified two major routes of why we do this as adults today. The first one is kind of the most obvious one, and I feel like it's going to be the most popular one, is that we have been conditioned as children to be convenient and to be easy, to be unproblematic, and hence we have learned to become very adaptable, which might sound like a good thing, and it can be in certain circumstances, of course, but we have consistently adapted to putting other people's needs first, okay? To reading the room really well, to making sure that we cater to everyone else's needs, because we believe that it might get us to be accepted, to be loved, to be trusted, to get a good group of friends, to get a good relationship, to become successful in your career, so on and so forth. So basically, it's supposed to have a myriad of positive outcomes, basically. But it doesn't quite work that way. Like, it doesn't seem to be giving the good results, right? But anyways, nonetheless, so a lot of people have been conditioned to be displaying such behaviors from childhood because we have observed adults around us and some of them were behaving that way in public. So we have learned to do basically the same thing. And then we grew up and nothing really changed. We did not really learn any new, behavioral strategies. And we never really learned the important skills, like life important skills, basically, that would help us to understand why people pleasing can be so harmful to us and why we should not do that anymore. So we keep doing the same thing that we've always been doing, basically. Okay? Now, the second route is something that I find to be really peculiar. This is something that people learned when they were already older. And basically, people pleasing is a form of manipulation, right? We all understand that. Manipulation is not all bad, it's not all evil. A lot of people actually mean really well, but it's still a very much a learned behavior, or like a learned strategy in a way. So you believed that being, again, convenient and easy on the eye would bring you a lot of benefits in your life. Again, you will get a good group of friends, you will get a good relationship. I feel like a lot of the times it actually applies to career people, that you're going to be liked in the office, you're going to be promoted easily, you're going to be liked, accepted, so on and so forth. You're going to up the career ladder and basically become successful. Yay. However, if in the first case, people pleasing was a learned habit, basically, in the second case, it is a habit that you kind of accumulated as an adult, right? But in both cases, a lot of people find themselves dissatisfied because the strategy backfires really badly. And it doesn't really matter if you were doing this consciously, if you were kind of consciously displaying these behaviors and consciously people pleasing because you wanted people to like you, you wanted to present yourself a certain way, or if you were just following the same behavioral pattern you were since you were a child. It doesn't really matter. It ends up backfiring and you are basically dumbfounded. You find yourself being really confused and not understanding how did you end up in a situation like this. You were seemingly doing everything right. You were being nice. And this is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Being nice and how that may not actually be the best idea. I feel like it kind of sounds counterintuitive in a way because being nice seems like a good idea and a good plan. But what nice fundamentally lacks is authenticity, right? Like, nice is not the same as kind. Nice is not the same as supportive, trustworthy, loyal, attentive. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, nice seems performative. That's kind of the vibes that I'm getting from the word itself, but also just generally from observing the world and people's behaviors. Yeah, I'm gonna have a really good life example for you that gonna maybe open your eyes a little bit about people pleasing and about like other people's relationships, I guess, and the whole idea about like performing for other people so that they accept you and love you and like you. So anyways, the situation backfires. And we are asking ourselves why people don't actually like nice and they don't respect nice, most importantly. Some people can like nice. Some people really do because they are the same way or because they just want to use you or they want something from you and your behavior is really, really convenient. These are honestly the only types of people who people pleasing for would like have any benefit for you because they want to use you to begin with, right? And unless you have a certain specific goal in mind that has nothing to do with personal relationships, love, and trust, you might want to use this strategy for your benefit, but you have to be really mindful of what you're doing to begin with. Like, this has nothing to do with being authentic. This has nothing to do with being accepted, okay? So just be really mindful of that. But nobody, and I mean nobody, including the people who like nice people, who like all that stuff, who like tolerate it, right? They don't respect nice. People don't like nice people. People don't respect nice people fundamentally, okay? That's important. And that is actually really important for you to understand in case you don't understand why people pleasing can be so harmful for you, because understanding this is going to play an important role for you, hopefully finally realizing why you should strive more for authenticity rather than for performing for other people, because it's really, really important to have self-respect. Like, you should not be performing for other people to respect you. That's not what I'm trying to get at here. Something really, really important that I want you to understand is that it is critical to have self-respect. It is really hard to have self-respect when you're behaving in ways that actively harm it, right? So when you are performing for other people to gain whatever it is that you want to gain, and you genuinely believe that you will get that, that is going to be harmful for your self-respect, because you will understand that you are performing for people who are not respecting you, basically. And they're not respecting you not because of who you are, but because of who you present yourself to be. That is a very, very, very important thing. Anyways, we'll talk about that at the end. Let's get back to it now. So yes, like I already said before, even people like this, people don't respect people pleasing behaviors, people pleasing people, really, not even behaviors, people, actually, people who consistently people please and whose whole personality is people pleasing, basically, right? Because like I said before, it lacks authenticity. You cannot trust someone who is not authentic because you never know what their next move is, kind of, right? A very important thing here is that you cannot trust someone who is people pleasing, especially when it comes to personal relationships, because you kind of want someone who is trustworthy around you, right? You want someone who's authentic, who is truly themselves, who you can actually talk to, who you can share your thoughts and worries with, right? Someone who you can actually build a genuine connection to. It's really, really hard, or dare I say, actually impossible to do so if you fundamentally don't trust the person, right? And you cannot trust someone who is inauthentic, because you never know if someone else will come around and they will see that person as a better friend, or someone who that person will read as a better friend looks wise for them, and they will just dump you, and they won't really care what you're going through at the moment. They will not stay loyal to you. They will not be a good friend to you, because they might decide that you're not a good fit anymore. Or if something happens to you and you lose your allure, or if you had some kind of social benefit for them and you suddenly lose it, you cannot rely on that person actually staying with you through your difficulties. You cannot rely on that person actually being truly, genuinely your friend. Because someone else can come along and they will look a lot better socially next to them, right? And they will want to perform for them. They will want to people please for that person in order to gain their trust and acceptance and become their friend instead. And I feel like you kind of understand what I'm talking about here. It's really important to understand that also, like, some people can tell that you people please, even if they can also tell that you mean well. Like, you can really tell a lot of the times that, like, someone is just genuinely not a bad person, but you can also tell that they're performing. You can tell that they're trying to get something, and it's very, very visible. And it's also like kind of repulsive. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not an attractive behavior whatsoever. Again, even if you understand that this person is clearly not meaning any harm to you or to anyone else, but there's like nothing genuine to connect to. Another very interesting note that I put for myself is that neurotypical people usually can't really tell that, to be honest with you, which is really bizarre to me. I have observed multiple occasions of people behaving that way and like trying to very, very obviously manipulate someone and being really, really fake. And I could really see that as incredibly fake behavior. Also because I knew that person to begin with, but like genuinely just based on their behaviors. But people around were very, very easily fooled. And I was so confused about that. So I feel like it does require a certain level of neurodivergency as well to kind of like see through this bullshit. I also have a little example from real life. It actually is an example from middle school that had a really strong impression on me growing up. So I was never one of the popular girls. I was never in a group of popular girls or anything like that. But I remember we had a new girl in class, and she was doing a lot to be liked and to be accepted. And I'm not saying that in any negative way whatsoever. I'm just saying that she was being super social and super friendly, and she did not have any problems getting into the group of popular kids in class. And she was often bringing some things to share with the class, not with everybody, but like only with the popular kids. And the truth is that she got accepted pretty quickly, right? She was liked, she was seemingly adored, and there were always people around her, right? Who were complimenting her, who were being super, super nice to her. But I remember this one specific example when all of these girls were behind me. They were standing behind me in class and they were discussing this girl. And they, I don't know, maybe they didn't notice me. Maybe they just didn't care for what I would hear. But they were talking so much shit about her. They were talking about how fake she is, even though I don't think she was fake at all. It's just how she was. But they were talking very, very nasty things about her, right? And then the second this girl walked in back to the class, they were so incredibly nice. They switched like this. And mind you, this was a group of multiple girls. This was not one or two girls. Not at all. This was so jarring to me. This was such a stark example of how people can be so incredibly fake. I was incredibly impressed in a in a bad way. This impressed me really badly. And I was honestly shocked because I don't know, it's really hard to tell. I don't think that that girl was trying to necessarily display any fake behaviors or anything like that, but I do feel like she was trying to gain popularity. She was trying to gain attention and to gain acceptance and other people's love. Again, without meaning bad. Like, she did not mean to harm anyone or anything like that, right? She just wanted to be accepted and loved. That's what I think, right? But what happened was that I feel like maybe she was trying too hard. Maybe she was trying to highlight certain aspects of her life or of herself, of her personality, that she thought would be liked by other people. And they were. But at the same time, like, people were being extremely, extremely fake. And I honestly have so many questions. This was a horrendous example. So listen, what I'm trying to get to you with this example is that please do not try to impress anyone on purpose. Do not try to gain anyone's love, gain anyone's acceptance. The best way to do so is just to be authentically yourself. There's no guarantee that people will like you, that they will love you, that they will accept you. That is just the way that it is. This is life. However, if people do like you and accept you, you will know that that is for you and that is actually genuine. And that's exactly what you want, because these are the people who you can actually trust, right? But when you are trying to build up this persona, when you're trying to gain this artificially, when you're trying a little bit too hard, you can impress the wrong audience, or you can just gain the wrong audience who are not there for you who you are genuinely, because I don't think that these girls were genuinely good friends to her whatsoever. I actually have no idea if anybody was a good friend there in that friend group to begin with, but listen, the best thing you can take away from this video is that life is hard, life is complicated, but people pleasing is a really, really messed up strategy if that is something if that's what you're trying to apply. And another thing is that also, like, something that I want to talk about is that people pleasing, specifically in the second route, when you kind of like take that as a strategy as an adult already because you believe it can help you in like your various pursuits, can often be actually masked as something entirely different. Like I'm sure you've seen this. Lots of influencers talked about this a few years ago, and some of them still do to this day. Talk about how you need to be acting more feminine, or you need to be exhibiting certain behaviors in order for a high value man to like you, or something like that, something along those lines. And in my opinion, this genuinely falls into the category of people pleasing, because even though you are not doing maybe the most standard things that are like typically associated with people pleasing, you're still trying to please a certain group of people. You're trying to please a group of rich men or something like that, right? Because you believe that they like a feminine woman, whatever that is, whatever idea of feminine woman these men possess, you are trying to get that. You're trying to get them to associate you with that, and therefore to like you or to give you money, whatever it is, right? And how is this different from people pleasing? How is this different from manipulation? It's genuinely not. Those influencers were trying to tell you that the way that you are as a woman is wrong, and that is not okay, and it will not get you places, right? So you need to become a woman in a different kind of way. You need to become a different kind of a woman. So you need to change your womanly behaviors to something more womanly. Otherwise, you will fail as a woman in this life. Please be very careful, listen carefully to what influencers are selling to you, and how you actually feel after you listen to these things. And especially if they're trying to sell you some course or something. By making you feel bad. And by making you feel like the way that you are is not good enough. That is a form of manipulation as well. Please be really mindful about that and use your critical thinking skills. Anyways, you guys, so what do we do now? How do we actually fix that? Number one, you have strong boundaries and you know your values very, very well. Please actually take some time and dedicate some time towards establishing your boundaries. You can write them in written format first to understand what it is that you want to achieve and how you want people to treat you, and how you most definitely do not want other people to treat you, okay? And understand your values and behave according to those values, and also choose your social circles according to those values. If you see that something doesn't align, if some people's comments don't align with your values, if some people's like sense of humor or like their behaviors just don't align with your moral values, please do not feel obligated to stay in those circles. Okay. Another thing is, please be authentic. I already said this so many times in this video, but please be authentic, because being authentic pays off. It's better to be alone than to be in a full room of people who all accept you and like you seemingly, but only for the version of yourself that you presented to them. And you actually never know if they actually like you or not, because they probably don't, because the persona you presented was fake, or it was amplified, or whatever it is. It was not real to begin with, or not fully real. Okay, so please be authentic, and please don't ever let anyone make you feel bad for the way that you are. And the last thing, of course, is please believe in yourself. I don't care how cheesy that sounds, but believing in yourself will take you places, and it will honestly keep your health, your physical and mental health, in a good condition, which is a really important thing, especially in today's day and age. And it will honestly help you to achieve success and achieve your goals, or achieve true, real happiness that will definitely not be fake. So yes, please believe in yourself, no matter how cheesy that sounds. All right, you guys, thank you so very much for watching this video, and I hope you like my new office and my new setting. I'm gonna be getting comfy here, and I'm not finished fully organizing everything here yet. So please let me know what you think about this new space. I really love it. I have a pink office, you guys, in my 30s. Hell yes. Please let me know what you think about this topic in the comments. Let me know if you have any other thoughts about people pleasing, if you have any experience like this, if you've observed people's weird behaviors regarding people pleasing. And subscribe to my channel, you guys. And I will see you in the next video.